You're listening to the Nerd Best Friends podcast, a podcast so good it belongs in a museum.
There was also a super random part where there was this what's another word for
Twink?
No!
Yo, what's up, Nerd Nation? We're the Coopers. We're in the car. We just got back from an early access screening of Indiana Jones and the Golden Compass.
The alethiometer. It's definitely the alethiometer.
Alethiometer.
The alethiometer.
From the Golden Compass.
100%.
100.
Rip off. Andrew,
Yeah.
what's your favorite part of an Indiana Jones movie? What's the favorite? Like, there are four Indiana Jones movies. What do you love about Indiana Jones movies?
The thing that I love about Indiana Jones movies is watching our scrappy protagonist, Harrison Ford, find clever ways to solve the problems that they find ourselves in and think their way out of a tight spot.
Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones, his gravelly voice, his facial expressions, his reactions, acting as reacting, are perfect, right? Harrison Ford is born like there's no one else can be Indiana Jones, right? That is Harrison Ford, your favorite part of Indiana Jones movies. Maria,
Yes.
what is your favorite part? What do you love about Indiana Jones movies?
That it stays true to itself. You expect action, you're going to get action. You expect Indy's, character, how he doesn't leave, his chosen family behind, because it's always a different person.
Right.
A different group of people that he, loves. Although they have some...
Although it's always
conflicts.
Marion.
Right, yeah, exactly. He doesn't, so yeah, that's expected. And, the action, and I do like the history, the made-up...
Yes, that's a big part of it, right?
Yeah.
Fictional history, the historical fiction of the Indiana Jones universe.
It's fun.
Yes.
It's quaint.
If you're a modern National Treasure has the same thing, right?
Right.
Historical
Right.
fiction. They're like, well, let's take this one nugget of truth and let's spin it out into a million different places,
Absolutely.
like a spiral art.
Absolutely.
Thing.
Like she said, let's sell this. And he says, no, it's going to a museum.
Every episode.
And
It
everybody's
belongs in a
"Whoa!"
museum, Dad. Yes.
Everybody's
Classic.
happy about that, right?
There's the Indiana Jones tropes, right? He's always going to grab his hat. He's always going to say it belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
He's always going to be afraid of snakes.
Right.
He's there's
Eels.
all the little tropes for Indiana Jones. The reason I went last is because, as always, I'm going to be the downer.
Oh, boy. What a
The thing I love most about Indiana Jones movies is the practical effects and the real-time stunts and crazy camera angles you get that show me that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg and all the crew and actors are having a great time making this movie, because they're figuring out how they're going to build these crazy gantries to hang microphones and cameras off of, and they're going to hang people off the sides of vehicles, and they're going to just do these ridiculous things where they're going to build these sets where gigantic things pivot on humongous pendulums and all this kind of stuff. The practical effects were completely absent in this movie. What I love about Indiana Jones movies were not present. It's basically a video game cutscene with Jar Jar Binks, Harrison Ford, and I did not get what I wanted out of this movie.
Really?
100%. It sucks. The action scenes are skippable. They're all CGI. They're all green screen. Harrison Ford's in none of them. There's no practical effects. The acting scenes are great. Harrison Ford's great. What Andrew loves about these movies is present 100%. That grizzled old dude with his gravelly voice is there 100%. Car chases. I'm talking about
The train?
The train. Oh God, the train with even like super young Jar Jar Binks. Indiana Jones. It's a bummer.
I'm
it's not
surprised
there.
you thought Harrison Ford could do any of that. I'm shocked you didn't go into this movie thinking Harrison Ford had to be wheeled onto set and like propped up in some kind of like exoskeleton in order to do these scenes.
Here's what I'm saying though. In the original Indiana Jones movies, Harrison Ford wasn't doing his own stunts. There was a stuntman, right? But that stuntman was a dude in a leather jacket and a fedora, not a video game cutscene CGI graphic. I'm telling you, the action scenes are very CGI, just like every other run-of-the-mill movie. When I go see a Steven Spielberg movie, I want to see practical effects. I want to see freaking Muppets. Now, CGI action scene that I did like was the underwater one.
Oh, yeah.
Because that couldn't really have been done any other way. I mean, it could have been, but it wouldn't have been as fun.
Right.
The underwater scene with Antonio Banderas was my favorite one. But really because it couldn't have been done any other way. You know how you watch those videos of The Last of Us where it's like, look, here's the video game and here's the real... It looked more like the video game.
I definitely thought the scenes of his close-up face, you could tell it was the video games. Especially because in the video games, they tend to, like, make the eyeballs look
like more
places.
wet and kind of funky.
Right, they're, like, more gleamy on the whites, and they tend to, like, look around more, and the eyes look kind of beady. I don't know if that's the right word for
the
it.
technology has come a long way.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
from Harrison Ford in this movie versus what's her face in the Star Wars movie. Like,
right.
I mean, it's great. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
But you didn't want it to look amazing. You wanted it to be real.
I didn't care about that because I knew that was going to happen. Like, I expected young Harrison Ford, and I think it looked great, and that's fine. I have no complaint about Jar Jar Binks Harrison Ford. It's a good movie. It's fun.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You're nitpicking because the movie was super cool.
It's
cool. But you've got to keep up your niche internet micro celebrity persona.
No.
Old and crotchety.
No. I'm saying
Yes.
it's
Yes. You just have to be annoying just to be annoying. You just have to, like, keep up your game.
All right,
Whatever. The movie was good. I enjoyed all of it.
Here's what I think. You know how in Indiana Jones 4, the Crystal Skull, they tried to be like, hey, we're going to take all the tropes of Indiana Jones and we're going to make this movie. And it's going to be the most Indiana Jones of Indiana Jones movies because we hit all the beats of Indiana Jones, right?
Sure.
And it failed miserably because it was just bad. This one does the same thing, but it's good. And I think it's good because the thing that it held onto was the pacing. Like, it slows down.
It slows down. For sure.
In points. We don't travel by map just once.
Right.
We travel by map like 3 times.
Archimedes.
I love
Archimedes.
when they traveled by map. I popped off, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good travel by map.
Yeah.
Please do it more.
They took time to develop that Wombat character. They even gave her a flashback sequence.
Right.
It wasn't just like, hey, it's Shia LaBeouf. He likes to comb his hair. Anyway, here's an adventure with a rubber snake. Nah, dog. It was good.
It's great.
They had a short round character. This time it was light black.
We're cutting that.
I mean...
Do you believe the story that Teddy was trying to steal her purse, or do you believe that Teddy is her son?
Oh, I mean, that never came up as an option in the film.
Well, he asked her, like, how did you hook up with Teddy?
Right.
And she said, oh, he tried to rob me or something like that.
Right.
And then took him in ever since.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that, or do you believe that he is her son?
I believe that she should have punched Teddy in the face and left him on the street to rot, because I hate that kid.
What?
That kid was my least favorite part of the whole movie. I wish him nothing but harm.
Why are we hating on Mustache?
Every single time he's like, his delivery is so odd.
Right. And why is that? Okay.
What do you say?
I'm trying to lead you to the answer because, like, he is the short round of that story. Go back and watch the movie with Short Round and watch how poorly that dude delivers lines and runs around and saves the day and all kinds of weird things. Like, it's
Flying an actual plane.
Yes.
Come on.
Yes. Driving a rubber raft off of a plane and sliding down a snowy mountain. Like, that's what Short Round does. Like, but that dude is Short Round, just like there has to be that kid, that bad acting kid character shouting one-liners in, like, terrible whatever, just like there has to be the scene of him grabbing a fedora, just like there has to be a scene of him hating snakes, just like there has to be a scene of him using the whip. Like, there had to be that kid.
Yes, but I think
Is it stupid? Yes, it is. Is it as stupid as Anakin Skywalker going pod racing? Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. Yes.
Hilarious.
Yeah, you're right. Like, you can't.
I mean, you're not going to go to a George Lucas movie and there's not going to be a kid who is somehow great at piloting something. Like,
Right.
that's
right.
a George Lucas movie.
He definitely has to be there, but I feel like.
We don't have to like it.
Yeah, I feel like other examples of that character do it better, though. Like, I much prefer Short Round. Maybe it's because he didn't have an accent.
I'm sorry. Oh, this kid definitely had an accent.
Yes, but it wasn't over the top. It wasn't over the top and comical and racist, and that's probably why.
Well, it is the year 2023.
I think it's Steven Spielberg. What are they going to do to him? Steven Spielberg is allowed to be racist.
Well, that's why he's in this movie in the first place, right? Like, nobody is going and being like, why do you have this weird ethnic kid doing any of these things in this movie? That's silly. What is this? Indiana Jones? You're like, yes,
Yeah.
it is. I'm George Lucas. I can do whatever the heck I want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's no Shia LaBeouf.
Okay.
Okay.
Like Shia.
Okay, spoiler alert.
Spoiler.
Here we go.
All right.
You got this far.
We're gonna
We
cut.
talked about the movie.
I'm gonna cut this to the front because we've
Spoiler.
already talked about
Spoiler.
spoilers.
No, we have not talked about
Spoiler
any spoilers.
alert.
We just gave a
Spoiler.
review of the movie.
Spoiler.
But at this point, we're going to
Spoiler.
talk about plot points.
Yep.
And you better know, if you haven't seen this movie, you don't want spoilers, turn it off now.
Turn it off now.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
That's how they break it down in Indiana Jones 5. It's a whole rock and roll thing.
Indiana Jones actually plays the electric guitar. Yeah. Harrison Ford goes, well, I don't really know what to do with this, but all right.
Oh my gosh, that's right. And then, like, Mutt walks out of the shadows and just sits at a drum set. And it's like,
All right.
okay, so now we're back in the house. Andrew, you said you had a bit.
All right. So, end of the movie. It closes on Indiana Jones grabbing the hat. Credits roll. Pretty normal. You might think that there would be no post-credit scene in this movie if you only watched the first set of credits. But if you actually sit through the second set of credits, you get a special post-credit scene.
Yeah, don't look it up. If you look it up, they're gonna tell you there's no post-credit scene. Right. But
it's because it's
for reals, you gotta stay.
You gotta stay. We saw it. Remember? It's like a very nice house, right? And it's like the camera's going through the house, and we're seeing all these different elements from past Indiana Jones movies, you know,
just like Indiana Jones 3, where we're learning the history with Sean Connery.
There's a picture of Indiana Jones with his dad on the wall, and then it goes into the room, and we don't actually see his face in shot. He's facing away from us, but he's looking into a mirror, and so the camera pans up, and we see the face of Shia LaBeouf, a.k.a. Mutt, the character from Indiana Jones 4, The Crystal Skull, the worst perfect movie you'll ever see. And he's standing, and he's looking in the mirror in like a white tank top, and he's all like orange and sweaty like Shia LaBeouf always looks. And he takes out his like switchblade knife comb, and he runs it through his hair. And then he looks through the mirror directly into the camera, and he does a finger gun and winks. And when he smiles, his teeth do a little shine. And then it cuts to black.
So, but that's after the scene where Indiana Jones and Marion are sitting at their house. And it's clearly earlier in time, right? Because this one happens in 1969. So, but then you get the young Indiana Jones, and he's sitting there. But Marion is there, and they're on the porch going back and forth. And they're looking out at their porch as somebody's walking away, and he turns around, and it's the bearded Archimedes, and he gives them a wink, and it gives a little bing sound because they traveled in time and rescued Mutt, played by Shia LaBeouf. And from his terrible, tragic death in World War II, and then it zooms into the house after it shows them smooching, and then zooms over the shoulder into things. So those were the spoilers, of that one. But honestly, when that plane went through the clouds with the power of the alethiometer, I didn't know where it was going. I was crossing my fingers for dinosaurs. But I was crossing my fingers for dinosaurs, but then I was also afraid that it was going to be the year of our Lord 2023, and they were going to like bring Indiana Jones into the modern world. Oh, so I was like, horrendous. On one hand, the devil on my shoulder.
God, no, that would have been bad.
Was like, they're gonna really screw this up. They're gonna bring Indiana Jones into the modern world with Trump and Biden and all their friends. And then the angel on my shoulder was like, these World War II fighter planes are going to fight pterodactyls right now. I was like, yes, please let it be that one. And it was neither. But that's a good movie. Like, I didn't know where they were going to go. And then they were like, of course. And then they did the thing, and Archimedes was there, and it was the War of Syracuse. It was the War of Syracuse because foreshadowing is the hallmark of all great writing. And holy smokes! And they were like, and then there was a line. They were like, "Of course, this is where we is. It's to bring him home."
Yep.
Ah, it was so good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a good movie. It's a good movie.
You see how he started this? He's like, this movie, blah blah blah. I wanted more.
Yeah, that's why it'll. The title of this episode will be "Why Indiana Jones and the Amber Spyglass sucks so hard it killed my mom."
For the clickbait?
Yeah. And then the thumbnail will be like Harrison Ford making like a screaming face, and then a picture of your mother with like big black X's on her eyes.
Whose mother? You better.
Yeah, your mother or my mother?
I don't know. We'll roll a dice. It doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
Where do your mother?
We'll call it our mother. It'll be a picture of like the Queen. That'd be good if we put the Queen in there. We put Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones
5. So controversial, it killed the queen.
Yeah, that's
It,
actually
it killed the queen mother.
Yep. The plane.
Oh my
plane
god.
flies through the portal and Indiana Jones shoots the queen.
You know what? I mean, that would be a perfectly reasonable Indiana
No,
Jones
it would not
move.
be a personal reason. No.
That crown belongs in a museum. Bang!
Those corgis belong in a museum. Oh my gosh.
Is there any animal companions in any of the besides the animals? I mean,
There's
companions.
always snakes.
Right, but animal companions.
Yeah, his name's
Yeah.
Mutt.
Good one. I mean, they named the dog Indiana.
Right.
And he was Irish setter?
What?
They showed the dog, right?
Not this movie.
Oh, maybe they show the dog in The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones. Have you ever seen The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones?
Dude, what?
Okay,
There's
so there was a
more?
TV series called The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones, and it starred Joaquin Phoenix as young Indiana Jones. And the credits, like the opening of every episode, was Harrison Ford. This was like 1990 something Harrison Ford.
Okay.
Made up to look like old Harrison Ford.
Oh,
Not right, because full circle.
wow. Okay.
Yeah, they like aged him out. They aged him out because in the year of our Lord 1990 or whatever, Harrison Ford would be 120 years old or something.
Right.
So he's there and he's sitting in a chair by a fire and he's like, "Let me tell you a story." And then the music swells, and then it goes to Joaquin Phoenix as young Indiana Jones, and he has all these little adventures.
The Adventures of Young Indiana Jones.
Right,
you could
and I
call it.
believe in that show, the dog, Indiana, is played by an Irish setter.
So, do you feel like the character of the role is played by Teddy, whatever his name was?
Let's get back to Teddy.
Let's get back to Teddy.
Let's get back to Teddy.
Hey.
Do you
Hey,
feel like that's
hey.
the dog? That's the dog
Hey.
role.
No, it's a short round roll.
All right.
They brought back the Bad Dates guy.
Dude, I love the Bad
He-
Dates guy. That guy has a name, and he is in the science fiction TV classic show Sliders as a main character. I love that dude.
He
And
should be in more things.
And I know his name, but I don't know his name.
We're not gonna IMDb this because this is no. Well, for him, this is the only thing we'll look up because it's supposed to be just our raw.
Actually,
pure-
I'd like to know who the. We're gonna do a couple ideas. Yes, we are. Okay,
No,
okay.
no, no.
IMDb the first.
Bad-
Bad Dates Indie.
Bad Dates indie guy.
No, just look up the. Stupid.
He's
Just
gonna
go to
come
the
up.
International Movie Database
gonna
and
come
look
up.
the movie, and it'll be right there. John Rhys Davies. Okay, John Rhys Davies is the guy we're talking about, star of the hit science fiction show Sliders.
Really?
What did you want to say
Sliders.
about
Did I
John
ever
Rhys
see that
Davies?
movie, Sliders? He's also in The Lord of the Rings.
Wait,
He definitely was in the Lord of the.
He's what? He's Gimli.
Yeah, he's Gimli, bro.
Oh,
Whoa!
your face is hilarious.
Whoa, dude!
That was so funny.
Whoa!
All right, we're watching Lord. Well, hey, real
You all right?
talk.
Real talk.
We gotta watch the Lord of the Rings movies, at least one for this upcoming season of Nerd Best Friends, starring John Rhys Davies.
We're getting him on the episode. He's gonna guest star. You think
Yeah.
he would?
I mean,
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You think he's?
I mean-
you think he's as nice of a guy in real life?
from everything I've seen, everything I know about John Rhys Davies, from the twinkle of his eye on the silver screen, tells me that he would be on the Nerd Best Friends podcast.
Guys, if you go down below this episode, you'll find a petition at
No, listen,
get
there are a lot of people
John Rhys Davis on the Nerd Best Friends
who
podcast.com.
listen to this podcast
Not gonna happen.
who may be tangentially related to the film industry in Hollywood, and if you can give me John Rhys Davies, I will.
Would you just
forever
stop
do that.
mumbling?
And
please?
hey, if you are John Rhys Davies listening to this podcast, I love you, man.
Bro, send an email to nerdbestfriends at podcast at nerdbestfriends.com.
You can take my job, bro.
And whatever you want.
Anything.
And by whatever you want, I mean everything we have, which is a sticker.
Which is a what?
A sticker.
Oh, we could get him a t-shirt.
We could get him a t-shirt.
For him,
I'll
we'll
make
give
mine.
for you, John. Can I call you John? We'll get you a t-shirt.
100. Anyway, John Rhys Davies being there for no reason, just to be there.
He was there to say, "Give them hell, Indiana Jones," and that's it. Who else was in this movie?
Well, Marion was in this movie. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler
Marion comes
alert.
back.
That's true. Well, she wasn't really in it.
I don't know why.
She was in it for the romantics.
That's
why.
It was
Shut
there
up.
because, like, if you're, I bet if you're like a really old person, you think that's really sweet and touching, and you cry.
But it was unearned. I felt like when they said, like, they're talking about the alethiometer, and they're like, listen, this is a time travel machine. If you could go back in time and do anything, and she's like, would you see this historical event, thinking like this guy is a archaeologist, he studies history, he would want to see these things. What would you do? Would you go back to the Battle of Syracuse?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. I would stop my son from dying in the war. I would tell him that the grief tore apart our family and I never saw my wife again. Like, that was
Yeah,
great
I love
Harrison
that.
Ford acting. Because I'm like, whoa, that was great. Also, the musical cues were perfect. Also, get wrecked, Shia LaBeouf. You're not in this movie.
No, my boy.
And so, but then at the end, everything was fine and they had a happy ending.
That was a gorgeous part.
But you know what? It was also good because did anybody else kind of think that he was going to get to stay?
I did.
Yeah, the past?
I wanted him
Yeah.
to stay. Did
I
you
thought
want him
he
to stay?
Well, I always want him to stay.
I wanted him to stay.
I always want the ending like that. But
I wanted him to stay. I wanted them to go back and not have any kind of happy.
totally. I was
I felt like that would have been his happy ending. Like
Yes.
you say, oh, he went back and there was a happy ending, but was it a happy ending? Would he have been happier?
Here's what I
dying
wanted.
this-
I wanted him to stay.
1629.
I wanted credits to roll.
629.
And the credits were, the words on the screen, but the backdrop was things in ancient history where, like, there was a random fedora or a whip or a leather jacket. You know what I mean?
You're horrible.
Like this
You're ruining the
hilarious
butterfly effect.
The
You
butterfly
ruined-
effect,
You
yeah.
would have
Yeah.
ruined all of it. No, you can't do that. Everybody knows that. Every movie, everything, you can't do that.
Right, and that was
Not
the
allowed.
lesson, and that's why she punched him in the face. Like, well, I get it, but like that would not have been as cheesy as the Crystal Skull.
Okay.
Yep.
To put a period on that,
Okay.
somebody decided that a better happy ending for Indiana Jones was for him to live in a dingy New York apartment with Marion instead of a happy ending for Dr. Jones being to live the rest of his life in ancient history surrounded by the things that he had studied his
But he
entire
wouldn't
life.
have lived the rest of his life. He got shot.
Right. I mean, the rest of his life.
Which would have been
Which would have
couple
been
of days.
24 hours.
Whatever.
And half of that would have been the fever fit.
But yeah, but I think no.
Sepsis is real, friends.
But isn't that, but isn't that a better...
You
the
died
point-
fast.
the
You
point-
got hours.
The point is that he's happier with the people that he loves.
Is he?
Then
or
he would-
Is he?
Yes, because
Yeah.
that's always Indiana Jones's thing. He will always, like, he pretends that, like, he's, like, gruff and whatever, blah, blah, blah. But the whole arc is when it comes to the treasure or the person, he always chooses the person.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, it's to me that's the same idea. Is that he? I guess he doesn't choose it this time. But
Yeah, maybe that's it.
I bet that's what it is. I bet if he had been like, no, I gotta go back to my time, Archimedes, but it was great meeting you.
No. If I write the movie...
Right,
movie...
that would have been real boring, wouldn't it? Like what
That's
kind
true.
of-
I think
That
they
would've been super boring
I think they
if
do
that
it great.
If I'm writing the movie and I do that monologue about how his son died in the war, I just tweak it a little bit and say, like, what would you do if you could go back in time? It's like, stop my son from dying in the war. His mother died of grief. blah, 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 blah. Like, I kill off Marion the same time I kill off Mutt, right? Because then it's like, you have to go back, Indy. You don't belong here. You belong where you go. And he has that line, and he's like, you have to live at our time, and you got to go back. And he would be like, go back for what? And we'd be like, oh, no, literally, you have nothing to go back to except Bad Dates Guy. Stay here. Credits roll.
No.
Julius Caesar wearing a fedora. Jesus Christ on the cross, whip hanging off his belt.
You can't say that on any kind of media. You need
What
to
are you
delete-
talking about?
You need to delete that. You cannot say that on any kind of media.
Dude,
you can't tell
why are
it.
people all upset about Alexander the Great?
I don't know. Just deal with it.
No,
People
it's
are
because you
just-
said Jesus.
Jesus Christ on the cross. You can't say that.
Where else would he be?
He's on the cross, and then he like pops one of his hands out and tips the fedora, and
Does
then
Jesus
goes back.
Christ also get a happy ending in 2023?
You just can't say that stuff.
Like in the year of our Lord 2023, there's no such thing as tragedy in media anymore.
No,
Yeah.
it's just blasphemous to bring it up that way.
So what
just don't
happens
do
is
it.
that Jesus
don't do
Christ
it.
is in the cave.
Yeah.
Have
right?
you ever heard if you got nothing nice to say, don't say anything
And
at all? Just shut it.
and someone goes up to Jesus and says, Jesus, you have to it's been 3 days, you have to come back out of the cave and come back to life. And then Jesus goes, come back for who? But then they knock Jesus out and carry him out of the cave.
Yes, it shows. Listen, Harrison Ford said, Jesus. Jesus rises, and they're like, it's time to go, Jesus. And he goes up to the rock, and he kind of like half-heartedly pushes it, and he's like, it's real heavy. I don't think I'm gonna do it. And then Harrison Ford holds his fedora in front of Jesus' face, and then punches through it, moves the rock himself, and then walks out, and like points his thumb back behind his shoulder, and Mary Magdalene and all her friends go running into the thing, and then
All the They're called apostles.
What were we
They're not
even
called his
saying,
friends.
bro?
What do you think apostles means?
Jesus ain't got no friends. He's got apostles.
I think that I like it that Indiana Jones got to have a happy ending. I think that it's nice. It wraps it up in a nice little bow. Indiana Jones retires. He gets to live with Marion and Bad Dates Guy.
In his crappy, hot New York apartment in 1969.
But it
with
doesn't.
bad neighbors.
But it doesn't matter.
Old people macking.
But it
There was
doesn't.
definitely old people macking. There is a gratuitous sex scene.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no sex.
Actually, that's what it is.
Old people macking.
The credits are rolling, but instead of a black background, it's a in-depth graphic sex scene between Indiana Jones and
You don't want to
Marion.
say any of those words out loud. You're 14.
Anyway,
roll it back
as
a
I
bit.
was saying,
No.
I think it's nice that we got to wrap up Indiana Jones's story, and it doesn't matter all those things because he's finally settled down with the people that he loves and he's happy. And I think that's nice.
What evidence do you have that he's happy?
Old people macking.
Old people macking. He's with Bad Dates Guy.
Bad
He's-
Dates Guy was there with like a bunch of random children.
He's with those are his grandchildren.
Oh, that's
Remember?
right.
Those
Bad Dates Guy
kids are
has like
gorgeous.
tons and tons of kids.
What?
Those kids were gorgeous. The little kids.
That's something you can't say on the air.
Yeah.
You can't say the kids are gorgeous.
No, absolutely not. I had two things that I was gonna say that I
You
thought
said
were really
you-
cool about the movie.
You were happy about the happy ending.
That wasn't that. That was me rebutting that. I liked that it wasn't like it wasn't setting up like the new Indiana Jones reboot.
For sure.
Right? Like, I would have liked the movie a lot less if he was like, if what happened was, no, Wombat, you gotta leave me here, but here, and he takes the hat off and puts it on her and gives her the whip and says, now you are Indiana.
Now you're Indiana Jones.
Right.
But they didn't do that, and it was better for that.
You remember the time in Indiana Jones 4, the Crystal Skull, when they were trying to find the Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
And so they like put a bunch of like buckshot from a bullet and they threw it in the air, and then the gunpowder floated in the shape of an arrow towards the quote unquote magnetic skull, not interacting with any other metal in the room, and how bad that sucked.
Yeah.
In this one, they were like, oh, look at this cool tablet we found. It's like wood covered with wax with runes on it, with like a language on it. Awesome, but it feels kind of heavy. And then they set it on fire, and the wax melted, and it looked super cool, and there was like a little thing of metal in there. That was 1,000,000 times better of a way to reveal a clue.
That was a fun way to reveal
It was, and like,
Yep.
like cool and in universe and not
But-
100% physics defying.
But also, how do you think that that little wax scribble stayed so well intact for so many years?
It was in an airtight box under the water, under so much pressure that you couldn't stay down there more than 3 minutes. Not 1 second more than 3 minutes.
And then
I
the-
will say this 4 more times.
And then there's the one scene where Teddy's up on the boat and he goes, only 3 minutes, and then the guy goes,
yeah, and the guy holds up
holds up.
3 fingers, and then it smash cut to Antonio Banderas under the water, about to jump off the ledge, and he also throws up 3 fingers.
I'm sad that he died. I liked him.
I like that he died. The random like Afro 70s chick spy thriller lady, she just got shot and got wrecked. Like they pulled no punches. Although I did like that they acknowledged it. They're like, yeah, we escaped. He's like, my friend just got murdered.
Right.
That was amazing.
Yeah. No, they do a good job. I was worried that like they weren't gonna kill people
Yeah.
because I don't know, movies are different now.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you're like, no, we can't have our protagonist nope. Bang bang.
No.
And that's why they're Nazis, because you
Damn
don't have to
Nazis.
feel bad when you murder them in
The
incredible ways.
Nazis killed people like crazy. Oh my gosh. You know what? Listen, let's slow down. I've been complaining a lot about Jar Jar Binks Harrison Ford in Act 1.
Oh boy, here we go.
But the budget spent on CGI facial reconstruction Harrison Ford was 100 times more than the budget they spent on big buff CGI Nazi guy. He's basically the Hulk in a plaid shirt.
Dude, that big old dude.
He was terrible.
Okay, let's see.
He looked like a cartoon. It was like Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that's him.
No,
No.
it is not.
Look at his IMDb.
Yeah, I wish he looked like that.
That's what he looked like.
No, they
No.
made him 2 feet
No,
taller,
no.
and his arms would like stretch around.
Dude, that guy is gigantic.
I know. I wish they had left him like looking like his regular self.
I thought they did.
Yeah.
No?
No, he was way bigger than that.
No, he was Avengers 1 level
He
Incredible
was
Hulk.
Ursa in the Black Widow.
That could mean anything.
That could be anybody.
Alright.
Yeah, he looked like the mooks in Batman the Animated
Yes!
Series, where he's just like a square with like arms so long like their knuckles drag on the floor, like
completely unnecessary CGI enhancements on that guy.
like I'm looking at him and I'm like,
think
man,
so?
this movie's so stupid with this big CGI guy, and then they handcuff him to a gray underwater.
Yeah.
That
was brutal.
And I'm like,
That
oh,
was
I like
so
this movie.
brutal.
Yeah,
That was so brutal.
There was also like
That
a
was- Teddy
super.
did that.
There was
Teddy did
also
that
a
to you.
super
Yeah.
random part where there was this What's another word for
Twink?
No! The bundle of sticks!
Oh! Thank God.
It was a gigantic...
Bundle of sticks.
bundle of sticks on a truck, and there was a dude on a motorcycle, and they just turned it towards him, and he got absolutely obliterated. Then there was just this randomly brutal death in the middle of Act 2.
I thought you were talking about, like, Archimedes, like, apprentice guy in the past. And I thought you were...
With the bow and arrow?
With the bow and arrow. And I thought you were just calling... You were trying to talk about him, and you just called him a And I was like... I mean... Okay. Like... I believe it. I thought it too, but, like... You didn't have to go that hard on it.
Nope. Never crossed my mind. Final thoughts. Me. There's a lot of unnecessary CGI in this movie. That being said, it's a fun movie. The expectations were low because of Indiana Jones 4, The Rise of Mutt, and so I enjoyed it. Maria.
I loved it. It was fun. It was exactly what I expected. I expected action, adventure, like all the historical fiction stuff, and a little bit of sappiness thrown in there. There was all the classic music and the hat and the heat. Fun.
And Andrew.
It feels like, even though this movie is separated from the other movies by quite a large amount of time, it still manages to wrap things up and conclude this iconic character's story in a fun and satisfying way. And for that, I give it a thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up?
2 thumbs
That's
up.
a little extreme. I don't.
Right. It's good.
I'd give it like a 1 3/4 thumbs up. Kind of like one of these.
Yeah, I like that. 1 3/4 is good.
1 3/4 thumbs
I like it. I like
out of 2.
it.
Cool, I give it a thumbs up. Good. All right, what did you think of the movie? Hit us up on our social medias. On Twitter, we're at NerdBestFriends. Same thing on Instagram. And we even have a Facebook page, or you can write us at podcast@nerdbestfriends.com.
All right, let's close it out. Hey!
Hashtag where's Mutt?